Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special new podcast that we have today. We're gonna invite Crypto Tom from Curvance, and we're gonna be chatting about all the ways you can earn. As you know, we have a campaign called Infinite Ways to Earn, and this is a fantastic way to make your money grow. So we expect to learn a lot from Curvance. We have been working with them for a while. They have a fantastic community. I think we have many shared community members between us and them. So the synergies are just fantastic. And Crypto Tom is a fantastic guy. We love to have him here. We've been chatting to him. So everybody make him feel welcome. Crypto Tom, welcome to the show. Give us a little intro about yourself, what you do in Curvance, and then we're going to start digging in.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thanks for having me. Good morning and good afternoon to everyone hopping on as well. But yeah, I think a lot of people know me as Crypto Tom in the community, but yeah, pretty much handle a lot of like the marketing initiatives, whether that's like content creation, writing, some things with like graphic design or videos, as well as, hopping on, spaces like this. So super excited to be here. But yeah, maybe a little bit of background about myself. I was in tech sales for a number of years and then found crypto during kind of COVID. So I guess I've been in the space for about like 4 years and then got introduced to the Curvance team like 2 years ago. So
awesome. By the way, I love the floppy. Was that you? Yeah.
No. So before I started with the company, I think one of the design guys had taken a picture of something on his desk and had it as a joke. He had like a floppy disk. I don't know where he got it. And they're like, let's turn this into a logo design and see how it looks. And then someone, after they actually made it an official logo, someone from the community turned the logo and added arms, kind of similar to like a BMO from Adventure Time, if you've ever heard of that. And so over time, Floppy himself has like evolved, into different shapes and sizes, but definitely a recognizable mascot in the Monad community. I think everyone's at least seen a meme or two of him, and it makes it fun, because a lot of these DeFi topics can get really sterile and kind of boring sometimes. So it gives it some light.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. And I remember using those and even using the bigger ones, the one that had the hole in the middle. That shows how old I am.
I'm right there
So
with you, man.
everybody who's watching, it's going to be a short and sweet one. We expect to have around half an hour of the show. We're going to be talking about their campaigns, our campaigns, how you can maximize your returns, and give you some tips on what to do to maximize and get the best APYs, and to stay safe as well, because everybody, it's super important to be safe while you're doing it. I see some of you are already watching, so are dropping comments. So if you want to drop any comments, I can ask the question, even if it's for Tom or Crypto Tom or to me, drop it in the comments. We'll be happy to ask those in the end. If there's something urgent or something that you would like to know, we can discuss it here live. So we're super happy to do that. And do us a favor, please share, like, retweet. If you're watching this on X, please retweet it so we get more people watching and we can spread the love even further. So, Crypto Tom, tell us a little bit about Curvance. We know, but let's talk about it like if I'm a noob, like if I don't know what I'm doing. Tell me about the platform. How does it work? What can I do? What does the APY means? I see a lot of numbers, but I don't understand them. So, could you walk me through it?
Yeah, for sure. So I think most people that are at least in crypto kind of are familiar with the idea of like decentralized finance and kind of how that differs from a traditional bank where, it's enabling you as a user to take self custody of your, assets on a hot wallet or warm wallet and be able to connect that to a DApp. And, Curvance is essentially, this, middleman lending platform that enables you as the user to take those assets and make the most out of them. So, essentially you can take these types of yield bearing assets, whether that's a MU bond or, an earn AUSD, park that on Curvance, and then borrow and lend against it. So in the space, I think people are familiar with like an Aave or a Morpho. So we're pretty comparable to those, but probably even more capital efficient because people can borrow up to 90% against their assets. So if you've got, 1,000 US dollars worth of move bond and you can borrow 90%, you could borrow $900 AUSD against that position. Um, and you can do all sorts of fun stuff with it at that point, with loop and leveraging, which we can talk about later as well. But yeah, essentially that's kind of what Curvance is in a nutshell. But we want to make things like easy to use and streamlined. Where you have all the markets, in one place where you can see them, and there's a lot of like hover over mechanics where you can put the mouse and see pop-ups that explain what certain things are. So, I think we've tailored the platform to just the average, noob, like you mentioned, or have more exotic strategies for DeFi veterans that want to really maximize their leverage. So, right now we're primarily on Monad, which a lot of you may know. But we definitely hope to open the floodgates up to other chains as well, like Ethereum, and I think that'll really, bring in a lot of liquidity and interest from because as it stands, ETH has the most amount of liquidity on chain right now. So yeah, it's been a long time coming. We've been building for about 3 years, and it's fun to finally have mainnet up and running.
Absolutely, and I think we're a big fan of what you're having there, and I think a lot of Monad people are super fans of what you're doing. I need to congratulate you because you are probably one of the most successful projects we've seen in Monad. So you're definitely in the right track, and you're absolutely right. I think opening to other chains can expand the possibilities for all the projects. Uh, there's a thing that many community ask me. I'm the community manager of, so people direct their questions to me, and these are the bytes. Tell me what's the bytes in there.
Yeah, bytes are essentially our version of like a point system. Traditionally, like post mainnet launch, people could earn those by like referring friends, completing testnet tasks, so borrowing and depositing and doing things like that, just in a testnet environment. But now that mainnet is live, by performing a lot of those actions, collateralizing, borrowing, and keeping your assets in a certain market over an extended period of time enables you to accrue bytes more and more. The other caveat to that is, as we hit these like global milestones, which is the top bar, and then you have these market milestones, which is the column on the far right of the markets there. That just gives you an additional stream of bytes when we hit these milestones. So it's a cool way to for our users to kind of work together and be along for the journey. So I can't really say specifically when and what those bytes are used for, probably, but I think people can probably take their best guess at that. But yeah, we try to give people options to earn bytes, but the short summary is that by using the app and depositing assets, the more and more you do, the more bytes you earn.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we are quite in the same boat. We have something quite similar, and that's why we are doing this week. As mentioned earlier, this is the infinite ways to earn, and you are our first and special guest during this week. So if I can just share my screen, then you will be able to see what I'm trying to talk about. If anybody doesn't know, this is our campaign that we're running, similar to the bytes. You earn points by doing some tasks, and right now all the tasks on Curvance are doubled. Well, even not doubled. Some of them are times three, times five, times two. So if you use our assets and put them into your platform, into Curvance, you would get extra points. So right now, the highest points you can get is by doing things in your platform. So it's only for limited time. It's only gonna last this week. We want to promote the Curvance week, and this is our way of giving points to people. So we're super excited about that. Uh, Moving to next topic. I see that there's returns on your platform. Let me go back to your 1 second. I see that there's returns on your platform. Tell me how these returns come from. Like, do you pay this APY? Does the APY come from the project? Where does it come from?
Yeah, a couple different sources. So I guess like primarily on the front end, you have Monad is shilling out these like incentives and streaming them through our platform for certain markets. There's a couple like the LSTs that stream at, incentives kind of natively. So if you have Schmon like a Schmon position, if you park that on Fastlane, you're just accruing yield by growing your position. But there's certain markets that are labeled that are incentivized by Monad themselves, which is pretty cool. So you're getting the incentives, which is like wrapped mon, and then you're earning, bytes, and then certain boosts like for you guys bullions, which is a nice touch on top. But primarily as this like flywheel happens and you have more users use the platform over time, the yield is actually primarily sourced from the borrowers. So people that are willing to pay like a variable interest rate on, having that ability to borrow and collateralize against their assets, which, like I said, speeds up this flywheel of, people, looping and leveraging, and that loan amount at the top increases. So, by having the ability to kind of like loop and leverage, it's, I'll give you maybe like an example. So if I'm earning, 15% yield through you guys on MooBond, and then, if I'm getting, that yield is coming from like the Moo Digital side. But if I'm, borrowing and it costs me 10% interest rate to borrow AUSD, and I'm looping that position back into MooBond, I'm pocketing that 5% difference because I've amplified my position. It's not my asset in a sense, but so it enables you to not only earn that core native, incentive, but also extra on top. So, the other side of that is the people that are, depositing on the AUSD side are earning yield because I'm, willing. There's demand for me to be borrowing, on the core side of the market. So, the incentives come, from Monad on one side, but then from the people that are wanting to borrow. So it's kind of this like living organism, on this platform, which is really cool.
So just like this could be a scenario like this has a negative. So that means I would earn money by borrowing, right?
Correct.
So I would make money by borrowing, and then I would be making money by depositing. So I would earn double, and that's the loops you're talking about.
Correct.
That's crazy.
Yeah, cool stuff. It definitely unlocks the ability to do more with your assets. It's it's great when you're able to just earn like the 15%, but when you add a little extra on top and you've looped it, 5x, your yield earning potential goes to the roof.
But as everything, it has its caveat. There has to be something. Like, what would you advise? Like, would you go with highest APY? Would you go with things that you understand? Would you go with stables? What would you advise somebody who's trying to maximize the returns, like for the long term?
Yeah, I think it all depends on like the user's, risk strategy and kind of how conservative they are. Because if you, a lot of people, sometimes including myself, if you just can't stomach the volatility from price action, it makes sense just to kind of like sit in stable coins. So, If you want like a more conservative approach, you could do the Mu Digital, low AZ ND product, or if you are really big on Agora, their Earn AUSD product is fantastic. And then for Yuzu, you have SYZ USD, and that can make a lot of sense. So, I think diversification is definitely key. So, by all three of those products being primarily pegged to either the US dollar, or like a bond, parameter, I think that's a really safe bet. But, on the other side of the strategy, if you're way more risk on and you believe in Monad and you want to have that upward price appreciation or exposure to the Mon token, using the LST products. So whether that's a Fastlane, or Magma or some of these others, that gives you exposure to, if we think that the Mon token is going to go up in value, but also gives you a higher yield on some of these products, because if you're, earning 15% and then you're able to loop that up, it definitely increases your earning potential. So, I think at the end of the day, it really is just based on your risk profile and, your strategy around that.
Yeah, absolutely. Something I noted is that the when you click here on your platform, you can see where the APY is coming, the native rate, how much incentives there's coming from Monad, and everything takes into consideration if you get bytes, if you don't get bytes. So I like that simplicity that you have made for everybody. Uh, if I'm putting my own money, I would go with a safe net rate. Like I would go and probably on a stable, which is hard to find, because um, if you go with Monad, you even if you're earning a lot of Monad or any other altcoin, uh, if you're earning a lot of APY, if the token price goes down, then all your earnings kind of disappear. So that's what I would do personally. Um,
Right. Yeah. I think all these things have can have risk involved, like you mentioned, and so you have it's different for some of these Mon based tokens because the price fluctuates versus these stablecoin positions, and your liquidation threshold is different. And so the nice thing is that our platform enables you to see, gives you a portfolio health bar to see where your liquidation threshold is and the healthier portfolio. So for me, like, this is not like financial advice, but I always like to keep all mine in the green, which is usually over 20% on the health bar. But God forbid, like there's some sort of a liquidation cascade happens. But I think it's good to diversify your portfolio into a couple of these different ones, and then monitor your health over time. The yields are great and everything, but it is important. It's like having a farm, like a physical farm. You can't just plant seeds and not constantly monitor and water your garden and expect crops to grow. You kind of have to, it requires some effort if you want to you make sure things are healthy.
Absolutely. I think you touched very important points, especially non-financial advice, and diversification is super important. Just to note, I think right now one of our products has the highest native yield for like stable token, so we're quite proud of that. Um, on what you touched this quite a little bit, but can you give us some alpha? Sorry, I'm trying to get this for our community. Can you give us some alpha about the bytes? How can they maximize them? How can they try to get as many of them? Is there a boost? Is there something they can do just to get as much bytes, or everything's based on these thresholds and the bars completing?
Right. I think like the referral program is a cool way to get extra bites, and it's an easy way to create like a link and then share it on your socials. But primarily, by performing different kinds of tasks, whether it's depositing, collateralizing, borrowing, lending, all those give you the opportunity to get streamed these bite points over time. Also, if you get liquidated, which is like not ideal, you get bites. That's maybe like a cool way, I guess, to give people like a thank you for participating in our platform, even though a liquidation occurred. So we try to make it kind of diverse and exciting, I guess. But the other way is our Floppy's Fortune game, which if you go to like essentially the byte section, and there's like a game widget you can click on. It's also a great way to probably lose your bytes by gambling them. But if you're feeling lucky and you want to use a couple of your bytes to have a chance to win, you can do that. So that's like another fun way to win those. But like I said before, the global and the market milestones are just like a cool way to for like the mood bond market. When we hit, looks like we're at 61% for this milestone. Once we hit 100%, that's a easy way for the mood bond or the mood digital community to get extra bytes for hitting that milestone, essentially. So we try to make it diverse and give people optionality with stuff like this. So
Okay. And speaking of that game and the spins, I think we have a community campaign going on right now where you can actually do a video of what we've been talking. Just get the assets, put them into Curvance, generate yield, explain that in simple terms, in simple words, or how you understand it, and get a chance to get some of these spins, right?
correct. Yeah. So, a couple of the winners that we have for this campaign this week each winner will give them 3 free spins. I think the minimum you can win is 100, which is pretty solid. But we've had a couple of people hit some of like the jackpot or close to the jackpot amounts, because we've done some other ways that people can win free spins. But I think it's pretty cool. Like right now, people have the ability to not only get like the native yield from you all, but get those like 4, 5, 6x. It doesn't show on our platform right now, but people are getting like the boost on the back end for bullion points. But by performing these actions, it just puts you in the running to get these bullion points. But then also by participating, posting about how you're using the platform on socials, have the opportunity to get these free spins that we mentioned is pretty cool too. So I think this is an awesome campaign, and I like the format. I think it's in 1 week you can really earn a lot of different cool stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I think our community is super excited about earning those bytes and the free spins. And also from our side, we're giving some NFTs. If anybody's seen my profile picture, that's one of our NFTs, our Mullish, our mascot. Same as you have Floppy. What's his name?
Floppy? Yep, correct.
Same as you have Floppy, we have Mullish. But we have NFTs, which is also a way to multiply your bullions of the infinite ways to earn. I just realized earlier on I was not sharing my screen when I was trying to present different ways to earn. So here it is. For this week, we have you as featured partner. So you have the maximum number of bullions for doing these tasks, and these are per token per day. So if you put $1 on the AUSD liquidity of the Asia dollar pool, you get 100 bullions. So if you put 100, you can do the math. It's growing rapidly. So we're super excited about having those high numbers for this week.
Amazing. Jose, what do you guys have? Not necessarily any alpha, but like for you all for 2026, like, what are like some goals the team has, or like are there any new products or like markets that are happening. But yeah, I'd love to hear about what you guys have planned for like the next couple months, I guess.
Well, I think it's something a bit along the lines where that you were talking. Maybe expand to different integrations, try to bring more liquidity into the platform. We had a bit of challenges in the beginning with transparency, and people were asking what are our assets. Obviously, as a new chain, a new project, people are a bit skeptical, and of course that's normal. So we've been working super hard for transparency. We've been working with Accountable to show all the proof of deposit, all the money where it goes, and try to make things as transparent as possible and generate safe returns. Right now, as probably as you know, our assets are based on RWA, so they are actually bonds in Asia, and we're trying to bring these returns to the normal public. So you can track this. There's proof of reserves. There is ways to make it, and right now they're super not conservative but super safe because we go with the highest rated assets. So we do not want to risk the money from our customers, and we value safe, being safe and being secure with those assets.
Right.
What's for the future? Maybe when there's a I don't know, it's not on the near future, but maybe long term, higher, more riskier, given the option for people who want to be more riskier, with the same investment, but maybe give a more riskier option with higher returns. Don't know if that would be the alpha you're looking for.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I think you guys have a really unique niche, and on our platform, you've done awesome as well. And I think by having like, because I mean, like even right now, people can deposit USD for like 22% APY to loop up on the junior side of the market. So by having those opportunities on our platform, that enables us to um, gain more interest, but also tap into like a different market. I guess like Mu Digital is technically more an Asian market product, and I think even like our Yuzu money market taps into that area as well. So that's kind of like our goal is to give people an array of products that they can participate in, but also do it safely, and that's I think the most important part.
Absolutely, and I think safety is our biggest concern. What we want is to offer stable returns, so the token is not going to go up or down like normal tokens. It's based on real world assets. There's money behind it, and the APY that we promise is going to be there. It's not like there's going to be more liquidity and suddenly the numbers drop. I noticed you can do that with some stables. You see a super high APY, but that's based on liquidity. Once the liquidity is there, the APY it just disappears. So we do not want that. We want people to feel secure, to feel confident that they're going to get the returns they expect.
Right. Exactly. What are your thoughts on the market right now? We've got so much crazy stuff going on with gold and silver spiking. We've got, I think today is they pushed it a day, so I think they're voting on the Clarity Act stuff. But yeah, I don't know if you have any thoughts on some of the stuff that's been happening the past couple weeks.
Well, hit 5K, right? The gold it was like crazy. Well, I'm always very optimistic, and probably that's why I don't have money. I'm a holder for life, so I would love to see uh, all-time highs coming back, back to a nice cycle. I would like to see BTC going to where it was a couple of months ago. Um, I don't. I hope. I know it's just an illusion, but that's what I would like to see. Um, what
Yeah.
about you?
Yeah, it seems to me like I made this comment yesterday on a spaces that we had, and the amount that silver and gold pulled back price wise, which was like 1 point something trillion, was equivalent to the entire market cap of Bitcoin. So that leads me to believe if just the pullback is worth that much, then it's not going to take much to roll over into Bitcoin to have like a catch up trade. But I'm kind of the same as you. I'm kind of like, or I would consider myself delusionally optimistic about some of these things. But I think the dynamic of the market is changing, and it's important to be positioned. Yeah, I'm glad that what you all are building, what we're building, is like a professional, like kind of like institutional grade product, and not building like a meme coin or gaming NFT community, because those are like questionable areas to be involved in, probably. But yeah, I think the market is shifting into fundamentals, and I think it's important, like I said, to be positioned in products that or projects that are fitting that narrative, because I think that's how we're going to get mainstream adoption, is getting a lot of these like larger institutions involved in these DeFi products and stable coins and things. So definitely an exciting time for sure.
100%. I think it's maturing and it's becoming reading between the lines and seeing that things are there. Like, we work very close with Accountable, and probably when I started, you would never check the proof of solvency or what were happening behind the project. Everything was how much community, how many numbers in X, and things like that. That,
Right.
to be honest, it doesn't make sense. Like, but I think we're catching up in the space to being a more secure, more real, more value what the projects are doing, and not on this smoke screen or what influencers are saying to where to put their money.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting journey over the past couple of years building, because we've all had to deal with adversity and the way that things are changing. As far as people on Twitter aren't quite as active. I guess they're out touching grass. But I think once that interest comes back and retail flows back in, I think the activity on X will be back again. I don't really see any other types of social platforms that are going to exceed what X has already built. I think people keep saying that, or that people said that Farcaster was going to do really well, and that got sold, I guess. And
Mm.
yeah, it'd just be interesting to see how people interact and communicate when it comes to community and crypto, because a lot of these projects also are doing away with their Discord. So yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with that.
Yeah, I think we're in a big benchmark where things are changing how we communicate and how the communities grow in crypto. I think everybody's just trying to see what's real, what's not, and everything seems to be hanging a little bit.
Right.
Interesting times. It's always evolving, always something new, and always challenging, uh, which is great.
Sure. Makes it interesting. That's sure.
That's for sure. Crypto Tom, thank you for being with us. It's been a pleasure having you and pleasure working with Curvance. For anybody that doesn't know, our team was on the Mana Foundry. That's where they met, the Curvance team, and that's how we've been working together ever since. I think they made very good relationships since then. I think good products follow good products, and when the founders meet other founders that they trust, then synergies start happening.
For sure. Yeah, I think you guys have an awesome team, and you're an awesome guy, and we appreciate working with you guys. And um, it's fun to finish off this campaign this week and see the different types of content people put out, and we'll announce the winners, I guess, next week probably. So should be a fun rest of the week.
Yep, will be. So remember, you can earn some spins, some bytes, some NFTs from our side. Lots of things happening. So everybody, stay floppy, as they say in Curvance.
Stay
Uh,
healthy.
Take care and goodbye.
Cheers. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.
Bye bye. Thanks, Crypto Tom.